Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the True You podcast with me, Paula Burns, wedding planner and creative business mentor. This is the place where we have open discussions to understand who we are and how we can show up as we really want to live our lives. And so every single week, I have an amazing guest who shares with me their story, and we have like a chat about, their journey. But the main thing about the guests that I have is that they are their true selves. They're living their true life, and they're really enjoying it. So the main thing that I want to come from these podcasts as well is to give you, the listener, the opportunity to hear these stories and feel like you can be exactly the same in terms of creating your dream life too. Because my life isn't your life, my guest's lives isn't your life is unique. So I'm going to get straight into it, and I'm going to introduce my guest, and her name is Jeanette Peterson. Welcome, Jeanette.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Paula.
It's really great to have you. Ever since we met, we've only sort of like met quite recently. We had a chat not long ago, and I feel like I've known you for a long time.
I know. Like, I just feel like you're one of those like kindred spirits that I'm like, oh yeah, Paula's legit. I love her.
Yeah, and it's good, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later on in terms of tribes and all of that type of thing, because it's really good when you connect with people and you feel like this is one of my people. This is one of my people, and it's great to sort of get to that stage. But let's talk about you a little bit and just find out, what is it that you do?
I am a faith and business coach, and I help women become unapologetic about who they were made to be and to learn how to go after that and become unstoppable with whatever their destiny is, whoever they were made to be.
Yeah, I like that. Unstoppable.
Yes.
Yeah, and once we know who we're supposed to be, we are unstoppable.
Absolutely. I feel like sometimes we just get caught in the world's view of like, you should be like this, or if you're mom, you can only do this, you can't do all these other things. That's not true. We're all
Yeah,
made uniquely, like you said.
exactly. So do you work with a specific type of female, when I say like a business owner, or is it, can it be like personal? What type of work do you do? Do you have like a target customer that you work with?
Yeah, I normally work with Christian women who are at a crux of their life. So like maybe they just became a mom, or maybe they're an empty nester, or maybe they're getting out of corporate. Whatever that big thing is, where they're at a point where they're having a bit of an identity crisis. And they're
Yeah.
like, I want to do that next thing, but I don't remember who I am on the inside. So I need to find that person again.
Yes. I hear that over and over again. And I've mentioned this in my podcast before. When I work with my clients, I always start with, who are you? Because that is the main problem. When you're looking for your way and where you need to go, it is just always, you've forgotten who you are
Yes.
and why you're here. So, that, I like the fact that you said that. It's, when you're at a crossroads, it's trying to sort of just recoup that place again. What is it that you love about what you do?
Because we're all made uniquely. And
Mm.
sometimes I feel like when we're like, as women, we've got all these labels that we put on ourselves, mom, spouse, whatever. We are
Mm.
not just that. We are a full person without those labels. So I
Mm.
love being able to like pull that out of people and see that joy on their face once again of being like, oh yeah, I am really great at this, or I do love this, or
Mm.
it's okay if I'm just a mom, a stay-at-home mom at this point in my life because my kids are little and I love that.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, like, you are multi-passionate. That's how we were designed. So I love when they get back to exactly who they were made to be, and like not forgetting that and being held in that space of, I am this magnificent creature and I'm okay
Mm.
with that. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with who I am.
And you're not using the word, I'm just a
Exactly.
man. I'm
No.
just this. I'm
Yes.
just it, because we aren't just anything.
Exactly. I get to raise my kids because I'm so blessed that my husband gets to work and I
Yeah.
can stay at home with them. Like that's a blessing. Some people don't get that opportunity.
Yeah. And I like it that you said you work with Christians as well. So tell me a little bit about your faith. because I have
Oh
a really
man.
strong faith as well. And it's great to have a guest on who also shares that. So yeah, tell me about your faith.
So I was in the military for 11 years. And after I left the military, I was like, oh no, like I have been serving this higher purpose, this military, this big conglomerate besides myself. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Who am I supposed to serve? I know that I'm supposed to serve, but who is that? And it's
Mm,
God. That's how I had to discover that through God, I am exactly what I'm supposed to be. And I didn't get baptized until 2017. And my daughter was basically a newborn. And I realized that God loves me, even though I've done all these bad things and I've done and seen all these bad things. It doesn't make me any less of a person or any less worthy of love and respect and all these basic human things, because I thought that I wasn't able to be loved. I thought I wasn't worthy of love, even
yeah.
from my husband who loved me, or even from my child who was a newborn. And newborns love everybody, right? As long as you give them milk, they're good.
Yeah.
So I had to rediscover who God actually is and not who people say God is. I had to discover that for myself. Because I feel
Yeah.
like when people say God only loves you if you're straight, or you can't love God if you're gay, or whatever that is, that's not what God is.
Yeah.
God is actually love. And so I had to discover what real love is
Yeah.
and how God loves us. And so once I
That
discovered
is-
that, I was like, oh, wait a second.
yeah.
I am a whole person, and everybody needs to know that they are whole people. And I need to know that they are loved just how they are, no matter how broken, in quotes, that they think that they are.
Yeah.
We are not broken. We are just humans.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I love
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. There's so many barriers out there and so many restrictions being put on people. And I think also that's what sort of gets so many people in that place where they don't know who they are because they're just following some sort of script and what they're being
Yes.
told, rather than really digging deep inside to find out who they are as an individual and what their purpose is and why they're here and what they're here to do. So I want to dig deep a little bit more into you and your childhood, because I feel like, when we talk about childhood, it's like understanding some of the seeds that were sown at that point that sort of moved you into where you are today, because life's a journey.
It is. So I would say,
Okay, so you're going to tell me about your childhood.
yes. So I would say my like the most potent childhood memories that I have are me trying to be strong or sticking up for somebody, because I feel like I was always the one that had to do that. People were always being yelled at or something in my family, and I didn't like that. I'm not a person that likes to be yelled at or told what to do or controlled. And that's why I love Jesus, because he's not trying to control you. Like
Mm,
he wants you to do the best thing, but he's not going to put you in a box. You know what I mean?
mm,
So with my childhood memories, it was very hard for me to like even, I don't know, like digest them as an adult, because I didn't want to like go back to that place where I felt so hurt. But after you're an adult, like you have to go and do those hard things of like looking at where you were in life and how things were and how you were formed, because I mean, that affects your future. So when I was an
mm,
adult, like I was angry and I was mean and I was always trying to hurt somebody else because I was hurt as a child. And I thought that
mm,
that's what love was anger and control. And that's not what love is at all.
mm,
So it
mm.
took a long time for me to digest what that looks like. And lots of
Yeah.
therapy, drugs, and Jesus, like mental health
Mm.
drugs. That's my, that's my
Yeah.
philosophy on life.
Yeah. Okay, so what were your stages then? Because you mentioned the military. So as you were growing up, did you go to university, college, you call it in the US, don't you? Did you go, and then did you straight away go into the military, or did you have a job before? Have you had a 9 to 5 before? Tell us a bit about your career.
Okay, so after when I was in high school, my dad went to jail. And so because my dad went to jail, I was acting out a lot. So I
Mm,
skipped a lot of school and I didn't really attend much. And then I went to this alternative school where you had to go every day. And then I got good grades because I was in school. So after high school, I didn't have a good GPA. It was not good. It was like 2.4, 2.7. And I couldn't really get into college with that unless I went to like a local, like a community college. I didn't want to do that because it was very expensive and I didn't feel like the degree was not good enough for the amount of money. And I was like, okay, well, if I can't afford college, I'm just going to get a job. So I started working and I was like, all right, I'm going to work here. I'm going to work there. And I was going up the ladder fairly quickly at the age that I was at, but I would see these older people and they were like 40, 45, and they were making as much as I was. And I was like, I don't want to be 45 and still making the same amount of money that I'm making right now. That's not a life that I want. I want to keep going up. I want to keep getting better, keep getting more money, like all the things. I want to continue. And so I thought about it hard and I was like, the only way to make more money is if I go and get a degree, but I can't afford a degree and I refuse to get a loan. So I'm going to join the military. The military will pay for my school. So I joined the military and then I discovered that I enjoyed the military. I enjoyed the lifestyle. I got to live in Germany for a couple of years. I lived in South Korea. I lived all over the world. And I got to meet all these amazing people and these cultures and discover all sorts of things about the world, not just where I was from and not just Americans, but the world. And I loved that. So after I joined the military, I met my husband and then we got married and I don't want to say kicked out of the military, but I was let go out of the military because I had a hip injury. So they were like, okay, you can't deploy. Thank you. We don't need you anymore. Please leave, basically. Yeah. So I was stuck at this crossroads of, this is what I've been doing. This is who I identify as a person with. And I don't know who I am without the military. That's why I was like, all these people at a crossroads when they're getting out of the military, or if they're becoming a mom, they need help. They're having this identity crisis.
Yeah.
Because I had one. I had a huge one. I was like, I don't know who I am without the military telling me what to do. I don't know who I am without having a uniform to wear every single day.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was without working out because I had to. Like I didn't know any of those things. I joined the military at 21 and I got out at 32. So it had been 11 years.
Chunk. Yeah, that's a chunk of your life, so because you develop as a person during all those years, you're a young person and then you're, an adult when you've left, so it's huge.
And I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay. And then also I was pregnant. So I was getting out. I didn't know who I was and I was pregnant. So I was like, I'm a new mom and I don't even know if I want to be one at this point in time. I just am one. So I was like, I don't know who I am. I had to do a lot of self-discovery about how do I figure out who I am as a person again? How do I do that? So I had to try things out. I tried a lot of things and I was like, and then I had to put on this lens of, I'm not failing. I'm just taking information at this point. I am a scientist of my own life. Do I like this? Yes. Why do I like this? Okay. I like this about this. What don't I like about this? Okay. I don't like this part about this. Can I find something else that fits in these molds that I do like or I don't like and not judging myself for failure or spending money on things because I'm not making a bunch of money right now, but I'm discovering. I'm in a discovery phase and being okay with what that is and not judging myself. And that's hard for some people.
It is. It's hard for a lot of us, and it's getting to that place where you understand that because you don't have to be in a perfect spot, in a perfect place all the time, because we are discovering who we are at certain points in our life. We go through different stages. And, when you start to get that sort of uncomfortable feeling, it's time for you to move, then you have to discover. And I like the fact that you said you did that sort of exercise within yourself about, well, what do I like about this? What is it that I don't like? And just to rediscover who you were as an individual and not fit yourself into a mold. And that's important.
It was hard. Yeah. Even clothes. I would try on clothes and be like, do I like this? And normally it would just be like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. But it was like, okay, I'm putting on this dress. I don't wear dresses normally, but why don't I wear dresses? This is actually comfortable. These colors actually complement my skin tone. This is fine to wear. I don't feel naked or objectified or any of those weird words. Like, I feel good. I feel confident in this. Okay. Maybe I do like dresses. Maybe I do like bright colors, and and being okay with that. And then also being okay with people being like, oh, you've changed. Yes.
Do you know what? There's a graphic, and I don't know whether you've seen it, but there's a graphic that shows it's two caterpillars, and basically they're both sat at a table, and one's blossomed into a butterfly, and the other one sat there saying to him, "You've changed." And the butterfly then says, "We're supposed to."
Exactly.
And I love it. I absolutely love that graphic, because there is so many people who are sitting in what they just started off as, and they were supposed to blossom. They were supposed to be so much more than they are. And that's what I love about the mentoring that I do, is just to help people shine in their own spotlight. That's what I really, really am an advocate of, in terms of, you need to shine in your own spotlight. Nobody else's, just yours. And let's find out what that is. And then, once we understand what that is, then let's see how we can work on creative ways to get you out there in front of the people that, need to see you. Because the world, one of the phrases that I use a lot is, the world needs to see your magic.
Yes.
They need to see you, and your space is there. Your space is out there waiting for you. And, if you're there hiding and you're, not going out and filling your space, people are going by and they're seeing an empty space. They're not seeing you and what it is that you have to offer.
And people are waiting for you to fill up your space so you can help them. People are waiting for them.
They're waiting. Exactly. It's just like, so the next thing I was going to say, because I think you've already sort of explained that as well, is that I was going to ask about, was there a time that you felt that you'd lost your way? And I feel like that was definitely when you left the military, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was so scary. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. Like, what am I supposed to do? I felt so lost and just like upset. And like, I went through a depression because I was like, I thought that I had it together. I thought that I knew what I was doing. I thought I knew, and I didn't.
And you didn't. No.
Didn't.
No. And there's nothing wrong with that either. No. I think, society makes you feel like there is something wrong with you when you don't have it all together, especially in this day and age with social media and everybody showing you their show reel rather than the actual thing that's going on behind the scenes. Everyone feels like they're not adequate and they can't achieve like everyone else. And it's just not the case. We have to, and that's why our faith is really important, in terms of, just keeping us going every day and believing, what it is that we can do. So when you were sort of like going through this process as well, so did you sort of study to be a coach? Did you sort of like, when you were going down that sort of road of you're going to start helping women who are feeling exactly the same way, were there people around you then that was saying, well, do you think you should do that? Do you think, because sometimes it can be a bit scary when you're going down a road that nobody else understands, because they never will, because it's your path. And then all the voices, so you've got the voices in your head that are saying, oh, can I do this? Can I really do this? Am I worthy? Can I do this? And then there's people around you going, oh, well, I don't know, maybe you should just get a job. Why are you doing this? So did that happen to you?
I think yes. Like, I'm gonna go back to your butterfly metaphor, because I've never seen that graphic, but it sounds so good. I'll find
it and send it to you.
Because like I felt like I was in that cocoon. I was just like shedding everything. Yeah. And then I had to like block everything out, like the cocoon. I had to just block everybody else out and just trust God. Yeah. And I'm so lucky that I've got a partner who is just like, no, I believe in you. I believe that you've got something big for you, and just keep going. Because otherwise, if he didn't have my back, I think it'd be so much harder.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was like, I've got this one guy in my corner. That's my main man. And if he doesn't believe in me, I mean, sometimes he'd believe in me even when I didn't believe in myself. I'd be like, babe, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And he'd be like, no, babe, you got this.
Yeah,
You
you
got
can
this.
do it. You can
Yeah.
do it. Yeah. And it is. It's the hardest thing. Was having a similar conversation with someone else, and they had to. She said she had to come to the point where she realized that when someone says that, it's not because they're not. Well, some people could be meaning you harm, but some people, they just care about you, so they don't
Right.
want anything bad to happen to you. They want you to stay safe and all of those things. But then we have to realize that it's not their journey and they can't see it through your eyes.
They
So,
never will.
when they say these things, we've got to make sure that we do sort of, guard ourselves in a way that we realize, well, of course they're going to feel like that because it's not their journey. And so we, instead of taking it on, because again, a lot of the times, what brings us to those places of angst and anxiety is where we take on everybody else's anxiety, which isn't necessarily ours. That's not our anxiety at all. We just need to breathe and just go with the process. I've been in those situations before. And, people around me are flapping and they're going, oh my gosh, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm fine. It'll happen.
Yeah, it'll
I
happen.
know.
It's so easy though to get like lost in that, because like even like you said, well-meaning people, like I've got family members who would be like, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you can do that? And like, it's almost like they're projecting their fears on me because they would never do that. Like you said, it's not their vision.
No.
Or maybe they just have a low tolerance for risk. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know all the answers, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to just go for it.
Yeah.
If I fail, it's, you know what? I learned. And then I go through my checklist again. What did I like? What did I not like? Like,
and doesn't it make life so much more exciting and interesting when you try in different things?
Yeah.
I love it. I just love the variety of life. But, I always say, I'm not somebody who takes routine very well. I'm not someone who's like, oh, you've got to do this today at that time. And then at that time, then you've got to do this. And then you've got to do that. I'm thinking, oh, please. No, let's try this.
Exactly.
And people are looking at me going, yeah, sure. That's a bit weird, but I'm known now in whether my industry, also in the wedding industry, and even in in general as a business person, that I'm known for somebody who steps out of the norm, and that's what I help people do. Just step out of those norms and just be excited again about life and what you can achieve.
I love talking to you because I feel like when people see you stepping out of the norm, they might step out, like they might not step out as far as you do, but they'll step a little bit out of their comfort zone. They'll be like, okay.
Yeah. And they get so excited. That's what I love when I'm working with my clients is that, and I hear it over and over again, that at the end of our sessions, they always say, I'm so excited now about my life and my business. Inevitably, I always get it. They just, and I love that, whether I'm working on, with couples on their weddings or their events, or I'm working with my mentees, that I've heard it from both of them. They're like, I am so excited about what we're doing now, so that it's that transformation of just going through the motions and the drudgery of stuff, and then finding out that there is another way, and it's all down to them. And they can make it happen.
And normally they're like, oh, okay. Like when I coach my women, they're like, okay, I'm stuck on this, this, and this. And I'm like, but why are you stuck? Why are you putting yourself in a box where you have to do all these things?
Yeah.
You don't. You can choose. You have the choice. You don't have to homeschool your kids. You can put them in school. Just because your mother-in-law says you have to, you know what? You can run the dishwasher twice. Nobody says you have to have a perfect kitchen. Like, who says that? I'm not coming to your house in the middle of the night. I don't need it. You know what I mean?
Well, this is it. It's like, oh, it is so funny. It's so funny, the rules that, so many of us put on ourselves. Those rules whose rules are they?
Yeah.
If it's not making you feel happy, then it's not the rule for you. So
exactly. Make your own rules.
Yeah, make it up. I love it. I love it because it helps us grow organically then, and it takes us
Yes.
on our own unique journey. And we're not just growing because in a way where someone has said, you need to go here, and then you need to do this, and you need to do that, but we're growing personally. And I love what you do in terms of that you have that same sort of mindset around that. And I'm hoping that like people who are listening are getting all fired up with about this conversation as well, because if they could see us how excited we are about just being unique. And I'm sure it's coming through in the podcast
Oh
as
yeah.
well. So that's what I aim for with this podcast, is that, the people who are listening will feel like, you know what, I can step out of the norm as well. I can
Yes.
do something different, and if they need help with that, they can reach out to people like you and me to help move them in the direction that would be so much better for them. So yeah, I like that. I like it. I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions now.
Okay.
Now you can give me a little bit more detail because I think we've got a little bit of time, but there's sort of like 4 questions, and I just want to get like a feel from you about how you feel. So, do you understand what makes you truly happy?
Yes. And it is always being true to myself. And I'm gonna go back to God, feeling the fruits of the spirit. When I feel that happiness, that joy, that
Yeah,
love, and I know that I've got the self-control, I know that that's what I'm on the right path of what
yeah.
is truly making me happy. When I feel that
Mhm.
anxiety, not like the nervousness of like, oh, this is going to be
No,
uncomfortable, but like I'm scared of something. I know
yeah,
that that's not my
nothing.
zone. That's not where I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be.
exactly. Yeah. And this leads me on to the next question, actually, because how are you in getting still to feel that emotion? So you've just touched on it, that you can feel whether, does this feel right or doesn't it feel right? So would you say that you're good at that?
I am now. I would say that I had to train myself to be good at it because in the military, they don't want you to have any emotion. It's like work, work, work.
Mm,
All your emotions need to be out of it when you make decisions. So I had to relearn how to feel emotions because it was
mm,
just anger and that was it. Anger or nothing. So I had to
mm,
like remember what happiness felt like, what joy felt like, which is why I was going through that cycle of, do I like this? Is this joyful? Why is this joyful for me? And I had to remember, oh, I do like jigsaw puzzles. Like these make me so happy. Like these are fun to me.
yes. And that's another reason why I asked the childhood questions, because you remember what you used to love. What were the
Yes.
things that you loved doing? And just because we're adults, it doesn't mean that we can't go back to some of those things that we do. I mean, I recently people talk about adult coloring books, and that's supposed to be
Yeah.
a really good way of just relaxing your mind. And I used to love doing that. We all loved that as children, didn't we? Like getting a coloring book and staying within the lines, using all the different colors. But yeah, but remembering what it is that you love. So yeah. So have you found your tribe?
I feel like I'm making it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm making my tribe one like podcast interview at a time, one reach out on Instagram at a time. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I live in the middle of Missouri, which is lots of cornfields, lots of farms, and lots of people that don't have brown skin like I do. I mean,
Yeah.
my husband's white, but I mean, so I'm just saying there's a lot of
Yeah.
brown people. There's not a lot of brown people out here. So
Hmm.
it's not just who I find where I'm at, it's people who I find that I align with, wherever they are in the world.
Yeah.
Like you don't live in the States.
No.
I connect with you so well. I feel like you are part of my tribe. You are my people. But it's
Yeah.
being willing to go out and find those people. Some people get
Mhm.
scared to find people because they're afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of being stuck with people that I don't actually align with and feeling out of
Speak the
alignment.
truth. Speak the truth.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to be stuck with the wrong people, because that's what's going to drag you down. That's what's going to take you away from your purpose.
Exactly. They say that you are a sum of the 5 people you hang out with. And
Yeah.
if I'm hanging out with 5 people out here who are farmers, I'm never going to be living my purpose. I'm
No.
never going to be living exactly who I was made to be because I'm just going to be on the farm speaking to the fields when I should be speaking on stages. You know what I mean? We can't do that. We have to find our tribe. We have to go out and look for the people who align with us, be willing to make connections, and maybe get rejected, but maybe not, because most people online are just doing the same thing as me, trying to find their true people, trying to find the authentic people that align with them.
Yeah. And, we all have this big fear of being rejected. But I mean, as you get older, it doesn't become a thing anymore. It's like, you reach out to people. If it's not right, it's not right. It will work. You move on. It's not a huge deal at all.
Yeah.
At all. And if you're afraid of reaching out to people, that's where you're going to lose out, because you never know who that next person might be that you can talk to, that will move you to the next stage that you need to move to, that will be a comfort to you in life, that will be a support for you. I have met so many people in my business life, and I say to people over and over again that my life has become so much richer. And I'm not talking about monetary wise. I'm talking about, the people that are now in my life from, working for myself and having my own business, because my whole, the people around me has widened. Because if you're in, like, you talked about the military, but if you're in an organization, you are just tunnel visioned. You're with one group of people, you see them every single day, you do the same task, you follow the same process. You will not widen your horizons as much as you do when you are running a business. And you have the freedom to do that. And that's what it is. It's a freedom to be able to just step out and connect.
I love it because people have different ideas too and different points of view. And that makes you even more like, I feel like me and you are creatives in the way of like, I need to see all the different things so I can put all these different pieces together. And that if I meet new people with new ideas, I'm like, oh, that's an idea I can put in my bank and pull it out later on, because I want to know all the things and how everything is possible, and even create my own stuff. So I just love being surrounded by people who love, like actual love.
And this brings me on to my final question. Do you love yourself unconditionally?
Oh, that one took me a long time to do, but yes.
Good.
I feel like sometimes we get stuck in this person says this about me, this person's gonna be mad if I do this about this. And you just gotta like shed that off. Like I feel like as we get older or even more mature, we're just like, that doesn't matter. That person's thoughts about me don't matter. What actually matters is how I feel, what God says I am, and that's it. God says that he loves us unconditionally, and he's loved us since we were born. So why can't I love myself that way? And if I can't love myself that way, I can't love others. I can't be a light to anybody else. If I'm hating myself, the one person that I should always love, I can't love anybody else.
Yeah. And it's even something as simple as, talking about loving yourself unconditionally. It doesn't mean that you're perfect. It is about, that you're a work in progress. But, I hear it so many times, something as simple as, obviously showing up on a regular basis. And, so many of my clients say to me, oh, I just don't like the way I look. I don't want to show my face. Their profiles online don't have an image of them. And, they've got a cat or, another image on their photo. And it's just, something as simple as, who are you? You are the person that you're living with every day. So, you have to find a way to love you.
Yes.
And all of these people that I meet are absolutely gorgeous people. They're fabulous people. And they have this hang up about, oh my gosh, I just feel, I don't have the confidence. I don't, I can't put myself out there. I don't, and that's what we work on. And we just, it's amazing to just see them start to open up, into like a flower.
Yeah.
I think, well, there you are. There you are.
I had this one client who like did not believe how beautiful she was inside and out. And I was just like, I made her do an exercise. I was like, I need you to sit in the mirror every single day and tell yourself that you love yourself. That's it. Every single day for until we talk again, the next 2 weeks, tell yourself that you love yourself and point something out about yourself that you love. And it doesn't have to be anything ridiculous. It could be like,
Yeah.
I really like the way my cheeks look today.
Yeah.
Great. You're complimenting yourself. And then once you can compliment yourself, you can receive compliments from others, because sometimes we think they're not true because we don't believe them to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Also, it's that thing where it's hard to accept a compliment, because if somebody says,
Right.
oh, you know, oh, that looks lovely on you, we've always, and I think we all do it, don't we? We've always said, oh, this old thing, oh, I only bought it so and so, oh, it wasn't very expensive. It's just easy to, it should be easy for us to say thank you. And
Yes. And that's it.
Nothing else, just
That's
thank
it.
you. But we always have to sort of
you.
like, you know, embellish it a bit.
Yeah, put ourselves down. Oh, it was, I bought on Amazon. It was $12. It was on sale. No, girl, thank you. Thank you for recognizing I look good today. Thank you. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, Jeanette, it has been an absolute joy chatting to you today.
Yes.
And I'm sure you were, our talk is inspiring people who are listening. How can people find you?
They can find me on the grams at Jeanette.Peterson, like Jean.ETTE. Peterson. And yeah, that's where you find me. You can get my 40 prayers to transform your life and business there. And I show up every day in my stories, and I would love to connect with lots of people.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much. And I'm so glad I've met you. And I'm sure we'll connect even more in the future. And to everybody who is listening to this podcast, I will be back with another amazing guest next week. But in the meantime, keep being the true you. Bye, everyone.